Pat Forde, great college football writer from Yahoo Sports, joining us on the program. Your reaction when you saw what happened at Miami, Pat?
Well, I guess, wasn't very surprised at the penalties because I thought the NCAA already had backed itself into a complete no-win position. There was no way they were going to give an additional postseason ban to Miami because the lawsuit would have been filed before the throat had been cleared on the teleconference to announce it. And they wanted to give them something. They weren't going to give them absolutely nothing. So this was the unhappy medium. But there's no doubt about it. The NCAA cost itself an absolutely massive, I think, penalty against Miami.
But how did they screw this up?
Well, the procedural mess-ups that they made were significant, but I think even worse was Mark Emmert's overreaction to that publicly, where he came out and basically made it sound like they had, that they had uncovered the Watergate break-in on their watch there, and we're going to investigate this, and our integrity's at stake, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And after he did that, okay, well, then some heads had to roll, and they get rid of Julie Lash, who was the head of enforcement, and then the entire enforcement staff leaves in semi-protest, and then they're left in a weakened position. I just thought it was terribly handled by Mark Emmert.
What's the new blueprint for getting out of trouble or lessening the penalty?
Well, cooperate as much as you seemingly can. Hire an attorney who used to work for the NCAA and knows all the weak spots and all the tricks. I mean, those guys are making bank now, working in private industry, a lot of these guys. And then basically wait and see if the NCAA is going to screw it up.
USC's reaction, look, I understand when the fans react. Pat Hayden's comment about it sort of reemphasizes that the NCAA was heavy-handed here. Your thoughts on USC's reaction?
Yeah, it's interesting. And they went and sat down with the NCAA folks after the Penn State lessening of penalties. So they are, Pat Hayden's been pretty darn aggressive about this, and I guess I can't blame him. I mean, the more you look at it in retrospect, at the time they hammered USC, everybody thought, well, this is a sign of the new, tougher NCAA. And what it's turned out is the NCAA has weakened itself dramatically since then. So USC said, hey, wait a minute. How come the tough on crime era lasted for one school? And now all of a sudden it's back to, whatever you want to do. So I don't blame them for being angry.
Yeah, and I think you're looking at this and you're saying, all right, who benefited from something? Who should be punished for something? I just thought it was so heavy-handed with USC. Unless the NCAA said, gosh, you know what, on second thought, we shouldn't do that. That's closer to a death penalty than what Miami was supposed to get, and that's what Mark Emmert said from the beginning. We won't rule out the death penalty.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's no doubt that in retrospect it's completely inconsistent. Go back to the original Yahoo report. And I worked for Yahoo, but at the time I did not. And I read that, and I said at the time I thought it was the best investigative report I'd ever seen. I mean, the levels of it, the widespread implication of people, and the first sentence of the NCAA release yesterday says that lack of institutional control, including coaches, boosters, players, staff, over a decade. Right then and there. And then you give 9 scholarships? It's like, no.
He's Pat Forde from Yahoo Sports joining us, Dan Patrick Show. If I said you can have Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota for the Heisman or the rest of the field?
Well, you've got 2 of the 3 who I think are absolutely at the forefront. I still think Johnny Manziel is there. It's not his fault that his defense stinks. I thought he was just absolutely fantastic against
Auburn.
Auburn, thank you very much. And, coming back from injury, playing clutch, playing big. So I wouldn't rule him out, although there's a lot of voters that are going to not vote for him because they don't like him, I think. But those 2 guys, I think, are definitely at the front. I would probably take them over the field at this point, but I wouldn't exclude Manziel.
Who gets screwed by the BCS this year?
I don't know. At this point, if it were today, it would be Oregon, but I think that will change. If all 3 of the top 3 teams go undefeated, which they won't because history says that rarely happens, but if they do, Oregon will go back in front of Florida State because the schedule, I think, strength of schedule. But one of those 3 teams is getting screwed right now. I would say it would be Florida State, and I would feel bad. It sure would be a great year for a 4-team playoff.
You got South Carolina, Missouri. You're going to that game?
Yes, I am.
Are you all in on Missouri?
Even beyond the alum affection for them, I am 90% in. I think that what they've done is impressive. There's been two teams that's won every game by 15 or more points, Oregon and Missouri. And I know they caught Georgia at the right time from an injury standpoint. But, Missouri played with its own backup quarterback who had never started a game against Florida and absolutely decimated them. If they get South Carolina, they're going to win the SEC East. I'm not sure they have any chance to beat Alabama if it came to an SEC championship game, but I'm in on them as a 10-win or more team and a BCS bowl contender.
What's interesting is when we heard Missouri was joining the SEC and Texas A&M was joining the SEC, we said, why? Oh, those schools are going to get killed. And now look at what's happened at both of those schools. Why?
It's a great question. I think, honestly, they had offenses that would allow them to play at that level right away, and we discounted them. And maybe some of Bob Stoops' constant crabbing about the SEC propaganda has some merit after all, because these two schools have come out of the Big 12 and been ready to go. Missouri last year was, talk about a team decimated by injuries. That was them last year, but the spread offense, no huddle spread, throw it around, hurry up thing that Texas A&M does has worked. And Missouri's doing it similarly this year, and it's working. And clearly, I think we underestimated by far their ability to come in and compete.
If I said you could have Baylor's offense or Oregon's?
I think to win a national championship, I'd take Oregon's. To watch, I'd probably take Baylor's. So they're both a lot of fun to watch. But, Baylor's just kind of silly, fun. That's like eating candy. It's fun. It's enjoyable. But I think Oregon's is a more advanced version. Oregon probably has better players across the board.
Good to visit with you. Safe travels to the game. Thanks, Pat.
All right, thank you, Dan.
All right, Pat Forde from Yahoo Sports.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.